Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday, which can mean only one thing. It is Wisdom Well Wednesday. Welcome, everybody. Today, we are doing the God Within, exploring Divine Masculine Archetypes. Now, if you remember, on September the 10th, I did the Goddess Within, which was exploring the Divine Feminine Archetypes. So go ahead, check that video out as well. But today we're going to be talking about the Divine Masculine, and we're going to be talking about the energy that you can embody to bring in that Divine Masculine, and also the shadow as well of the masculine energy. You don't need to be a man to be incorporating the Divine Masculine into your life either, so this is good for anybody. We're going to be talking about the significance of how to bring and balance that energy and that strength within you, and which ones you might want to explore a little bit further. Are you ready to unlock the power of the Divine Masculine within you? In this video, we're diving into the captivating world of the Divine Masculine archetypes, exploring how they influence our lives, relationships, and personal growth. Discover which archetype resonates with you and learn how to harness its strength to transform your journey. Okay, so today we're going to be exploring both the divine and the shadow parts of the masculine for anyone who wants to incorporate this energy within them or understand themselves a little bit better. This is going to be things such as protective, leadership, strength, all of those qualities that you think of when you think of masculine energy. This is usually an opposite, an equal and opposite of the feminine. So we're going to start off with some more common ones that people usually know about. The most common one, obviously, is the king aspect and archetype. This one is obviously about embodying leadership, authority, and responsibility. Very, very powerful, very radiating aura, right? So this is a man or someone embodying that masculine energy who is very, very sure of themselves, very much that leader, very much about the community aspect as well. Very, very strong, as is most of these divine masculine things. To get an idea, figures for the king could be gods like Zeus, for example, king of the gods like Odin and Zeus, or the mythology ones and legendary ones like King Arthur. These kind of ones embody the king archetype and energy. Moving then to the warrior. Warrior, of course, represents courage and strength and determination, also protection as well, because he is defending, right? He is this force to be reckoned with. These could be maybe Aries, Achilles, those kind of very raw, masculine, war almost type energies going on there. The warrior very much can overcome any obstacle, can fight for what they believe in, this kind of stuff. Next, we have the magician. Magician is very much about transformation and the wisdom and the insight. This is almost like an alchemist type person, someone that can transform using that raw masculine energy and bringing ideas into life, into the physical, and it's all about that transformation and magic. An overlap to this would be maybe the sage or the wise man. For all of these ones, you would think of somebody like Merlin, the ones of that kind of very wise, very magical, very sort of someone with this great presence about them, something that's like very older than their years. So the sage and the wise man is like the magician, where you have all that mentorship and magic and wisdom rolled into one there. Very much about an intellectual guide or someone who is going to help you through lessons and get you to understand where you're meant to be going and how you're meant to be transforming yourself. Another divine masculine is the lover. There is also one of these in the feminine as well. This is about passion and connection, creativity, and emotional depth. So this would be someone like Eros or Cupid, that kind of like energy coming through. Even Osiris would be kind of a nice one to incorporate into this as well, perhaps. There's many that you could use, so don't just go with the ones that I'm suggesting. Really delve into ones and really find the ones that you really truly resonate with if you're wanting to call in an entity or a god or something to help you embody this kind of power and energy. So the lover obviously is all about pleasure and beauty and that gentle but raw energy of love and the passion that comes with it. It's very much about connecting fully with the heart chakra as well with this one. Maybe you could look into that if you need to bring down the warrior stuff so much, but still have that raw power within you. And then you've got ones like the hero. So this would be like Hercules or someone like that. Very much about self-discovery and bravery and, strength in the journey and, the power behind that. And then there are some lesser ones, but or lesser known ones, we should say, but they're no less important. There's ones like the father. So that father figure is very much the nurturing, supportive, but also protective and the provider. So this is like the family man, but the strong, head of the household kind of father figure, not a scary one, just one that is respected but fun and a teacher to the younger generation. It doesn't need to be a biological father, it could be a father figure, something like that. Then we have the wild man. The wild man obviously is going to be that primal energy, right? Very much about freedom and instincts and stuff like that. This is something where maybe you would want to go into like a hermit kind of stage and just fully let loose and just go with all of your instincts and everything and really tap into that primal source of the masculine energy within. So this one would be a really interesting one to do. I don't think many people would be brave enough, if that's the right word, to do this one, or wouldn't find the need for it so much. But it's obviously a very healing one for multiple different reasons that would be way too long to do in this video. Then we have the healer. That's obviously the whole healing kind of aspect, the helping others through mental, emotional, and physical problems through embodying the divine masculine healer, like Asclepius or someone like that, to bring down that kind of energy into helping others through that fiery energy. So whereas we have the feminine energy for that is a very gentle and nurturing one, maybe you need to bring in the divine masculine kind of raw energy, the fiery energy, the one that's just like very quick and sudden and kind of thing, rather than that very subtle, very gentle, very nurturing of the feminine. Then we have the wanderer or the explorer, again, another very self-explanatory one where maybe you want to go out on adventures and things to discover who you are within the world around you and the world that you haven't yet explored. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go out and travel the world, but just go on adventures within your own little bubble, your own community, and discover what else is out there or find new information, new ideas, new belief systems, and really explore them and discover what is out there and what others believe in and what other information you can get from others just for exploring. It's not about changing your mind, it's about bringing in so much information so that you're able to understand others as well as yourself. The trickster, this can be both the shadow and the divine. So if we're going with the divine element of this one would be challenging social norms or bringing in a kind of change for the better, like shaking things up a bit and not being afraid to do that, not thinking, well, what will other people think? Just going out there and changing everything and getting people to question their reality or their belief systems or their way of life and just seeing what happens with that, bringing in that disruptive energy, and that can almost be like a humor in it, like a Loki energy or a Hermes energy, where it's almost like a game, that it's really shaking up everything around you and seeing what happens. So this could be a good thing, obviously, and a bad thing. So on the good side, it's actually a change of society or those around you for the better. The shaman is another one, like the healer. It's all about connection and healing. So it's that connecting to other worlds, or really incorporating the God energy or something like that to channel through you to change and manipulate in a good way the body or the ailments and the conditions and stuff, and really transform on a more spiritual level than the healer, perhaps. The rebel, this is also one that we had in the other one as well, in the feminine as well. This one is obviously a defiance against tradition and stuff. So very much like the trickster in a way. This one can be a break from tradition and or the way that things are meant to be. So an energy like Prometheus, perhaps, where you're bringing in something that we're not ready for yet, or we're not meant to know. It's like a whistleblower almost kind of thing, bringing in information that has been taken away from us or not meant for our eyes. And another slightly different one as well is the alchemist. It's all about the transformation and the mastery, like the magician and the sage and all of that stuff. This one is very much about more changing the physical stuff into new and exciting things. So very much about changing the environment for something that maybe people think that you can't even do. And it's like this, oh, you'll never be able to do that. So you go out and you do it anyway, and you magically change things around you to suit yourself better and to help other people in the process. Looking now at the darker side, the shadow side, this can be almost described as like a boy psychology, a very immature version of the divine masculine. So divine masculine is very much incorporating the things that you think of when you think of the masculine or of a man. It's the very traditional stuff of the protector and the strength and the provider and all of this kind of stuff. That is the masculine, right? The fiery energy, the drive, this all of that kind of stuff. So then this darker side would be where it's those, but it's the opposite, or it's the negative form of those. So what do I mean by that? So like the Shadow King, for example, would be the Tyrant King. So Tyrant King would abuse their power or their control over other people. They wouldn't be a good leader, those kind of things. So that would be the opposite of what we want from a divine masculine king. We don't want someone that's going to abuse their power. Same would be the weakling king, so the one that is very fearful and paranoid and, has all this power, but shrinks away from it, doesn't know what to do with it, and lets other people take over and use his name to start wars or new laws and things that in fact are not actually good for the people. So this would be where the king is quite weak and not able to stand in his own power. So the shadow of the warrior would be the destroyer, right? The sadist and the misogynist. So they would be very reckless. They would be quite violent and destructive. They're not really what we think of when we think of a warrior that would protect the village. This is one that just wants to fight for the sake of fighting, doesn't care who he's hurting in the process, the person on his side or the enemy. It doesn't matter. He's just going out and doing it, or he's just enjoying the part of hurting other people physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever it is. Like, this is not the good side of the warrior. So this is the more shadow part of it. The shadow side of the magician actually would be the trickster as well. So remember I said before that there's the positive side to the trickster and the negative. So this is where the trickster magician comes in. We also have the naive one or the innocent one, the one that doesn't really understand and kind of self-sabotages a little, doesn't understand their power as the magician. And the manipulator as well, someone that uses that magic and that power for manipulating others. So they're all quite deceptive and greedy and trying to do things for themselves. All of these shadow ones are kind of more selfish than community and for others and helping other people, as well as building up the personal strength as well. The negative sides and the shadow sides are always more insular on what's good for me, and I don't really care if it's hurting other people kind of mentality. Then we have the shadow of the lover. So obviously this would be the addicted lover. So one that can't let go and keep pulling you in, and it's kind of that suffocating kind of love and clinginess. It's not standing in that divine masculine power as the lover. It's being quite meek and quite needy. It's and this is a constant, like obviously like you're going to change that, but it's like a constant need for the other person kind of thing, and it's not really causing desire and stuff after a while, because that we're seeing the weakness of the lover here. And then last shadow would be like the shadow father, for example. We would look at the shadow father as someone that is very absent or neglectful, emotionally unavailable, all of these things. So the father that is not wanting to teach the younger generation, embrace and lead them into a new era. It's one that, again, is kind of abusing their power or not bothering with helping the next generation moving on into something better. It's not about support and nurturing for the detached father figure. So to embrace your divine masculine, you can either just pick one or a couple of them and blend them together. They don't just need to be one or the other. You can be a mixture of lots of different ones. Which ones do you want to bring in, and how are you going to do that? Are you going to call in a divine being to come help you with that? Are you going to just start working on those kind of personality traits in yourself and stop yourself when you start hearing the more negative side and the shadow side of that? Are you going to go out and explore how you can become the best that you can at that archetype? And again, you can blend them together. So you want to have like some king energy and some warrior energy with a bit of magician, go for it. Like mix them all together, get the best bits from each of them and put them together and create your own little part of you, and really embrace that. Become that strong masculine energy right there. Is very much about self-discovery as well, because you can look at it as well and be honest with yourself. See what more shadow ones that pop up for you quite a bit, and why is that? Is there a way of turning it around into something more positive? So for example, if you are in a more shadow one, if that's because of some trauma or something that happened to you, maybe you could change that around and bring that into your strength and go out and help people who are also in that situation or something like that, and bring them into a better lifestyle, a better way of using that energy and that experience to grow and expand and to become stronger, to become someone that is looked up to for what they've been through and not staying in that victim mentality. There are so many ways that you can incorporate the divine masculine into your everyday life. Obviously, being masculine is very much about movement and activity and action, so anything physical. So this could be hobbies or martial arts or hiking or sports or something that's very, very active and, bringing in these kind of like warrior and wild man kind of aspects, perhaps. As I said, doing some shadow work would probably really benefit, especially if you want to incorporate some more divine masculine stuff. It's always good to find out what the shadow part of you is as well, so that you can heal that part of you to become a better divine masculine and that kind of stuff. There's also things like men's groups and stuff like that. There's online ones as well as in person, and those are actually growing in number now. So there probably is some near you or, like I said, online, and they're extremely needed and supported, especially for men, because it teaches men how to be men, how to tap into their masculine energy and not shy away from it, not be these shadow parts of it, actually step into that power unapologetically and in a control and healing way, in an actual protective way, and not in this like manipulation kind of way. That thing where people say like toxic masculinity. Masculinity isn't toxic, and if it's used right, if it's channeled properly, it's actually extremely, extremely powerful, and it's very much needed, especially now, for men to step more into this masculine. And it doesn't need to be me man, all out in the world, like, fighting and stuff. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about strong, protective men that can actually stand the ground. And if we want to get really spiritual, maybe I'll do another video on this, but it's like the men are the physical protectors and the women or the feminine are the protectors from the spiritual world and the explorers of the spiritual world, and the masculine is the explorers of the physical world. So it's that beautiful dance where the women are protecting the men from the spiritual stuff, and the men are protecting the women from the physical stuff. And it's this very harmonious thing that you can get into there. And it's not to say women can't protect themselves. They're extremely powerful. Their job is more the spiritual side of it. So we'll get into maybe another video another time with that. But yeah, it's a very, very important thing to do. So yes, so these men's groups, very, very good. They really do help you heal from the traumas and the conditioning of society, as well as give you accountability and a brotherhood that can really, really help you thrive as a man and in that masculine energy. So very much, please do look out for those. And then, of course, depending what it is that you actually want to incorporate, maybe have a little think about things that you could do with that. If it's more artistic and magical and creative, like look into those kind of things. If it's more action orientated and stuff like that, look into those kind of things. It could also be sort of more mental stuff as well, like going into a research thing, or just that mindset mentality of creating this for you, like speaking and thinking into reality what you want to see in the world around you and for yourself. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the God Within and discovering a little bit about the Divine Masculine Archetypes. This is by no means an exclusive list. There are other ones. There's maybe different names for them. Like, just go and explore, see who you are drawn more to, and start incorporating the positive stuff into your life. Let me know as well if you want to tell me what kind of divine masculine archetype you think that you are and why, or if it's a more shadow one, how are you hoping to create a different persona from that? How are you going to get from the tyrant king to the king, perhaps, something like that? As always, please do like, subscribe, and notify, share it with anybody that you think would benefit from this. If you want to know anything about men's groups in particular and stuff, I do have a couple of contacts. So let me know if you're interested in being put in contact with those people, and they can help you, guide you in a direction that you need to go in. Next week, we have understanding your sun, moon, and rising sign. So this is all to do with astrology. When we talk about astrology, we think of our sun sign. So what star sign are you? You will say your sun sign, right? But obviously doing the whole chart is really, really good. But if you know your sun, your moon, and your rising, you actually get a more well-rounded understanding of who you are. So it's very, very important to know those. If you're interested in your star sign as well, maybe incorporate the moon and the rising as well, because some people, they find that their sun doesn't really resonate so well with them. And then I think, oh, astrology is rubbish. But actually, it's probably because the moon and the rising are actually more powerful energies coming in, and you're actually more like your moon, or you're actually more like your rising. So bringing those three together really helps you have a broader understanding of yourself. But that's all for next week. As always, thank you so much for being here, everybody. I love, love, love this time with you every Wednesday. And please do reach out if you have any questions. Until next Wednesday, have a wonderful week. Mwah. Bye.
From the Wisdom Well, keep shining, continue learning, and stay curious. Until next Wednesday.